Hello friends, it's really wonderful to be with you. My talk, as Michael said, is on spirituality that's beyond religion. So spirituality is that innate essence of goodness that is found in each one of us. It comes with being human. But there is an individual process for each of us to awaken to or reawaken to this inner knowingness. There are three groups of people in the world today that I want to focus on. One group is the group of religious people who are interested only in their own religion. And some of them are quite antagonistic to other religions. The second group is religious people who value their own religion as the only one for them. But they have respect for other religions. And some of them even engage in interfaith activities. And then the third group is those people who consider themselves spiritual but not religious and don't engage in religious activities, but they may do other things. So spirituality has different approaches. But for many people in the world, their approach to spirituality does come through religion. It could be the religion that they were born into and that is part of their culture and customs, or a different religion that they are attracted to. They see the strengths, beauty, and truth within the religion that speaks to them. It offers answers to their bigger questions about life and provides comfort in their times of need. It is their approach to spirituality, and they value it. However, there are those religious people who value only their religion and discount any other religion. They see their religion as the only path. Over the centuries, as we know, this has been carried to extreme with religious wars in which various religious groups asserted supremacy over all others and captured people and forced adherence to their religion. Or terrorism that is being done even today in the name of religion. In a more peaceful approach, there are organized religious efforts and mission work for the conversion and salvation of groups of people and their souls. And then, in a more relaxed outreach, there are inviting churches, temples, and mosques that simply welcome interested new seekers. At one time, individual religions were often isolated within a particular country or region of the world. Adherents mainly knew their own religion. But over time that has changed, and today, in a world of increasing diversity, many religions exist side by side one another. But that doesn't mean they always get along. In an effort to peacefully coexist, and because of a genuine curiosity and desire for deeper understanding of others, interfaith efforts were begun in the past, and today many flourish. Comparative religion courses are taught in colleges and universities, as well as in some faiths, and understanding and respect increases. So for many people today, interest in their own religion has expanded to another stage that includes interfaith focus also. Today, there are national and international organizations that promote interfaith work and understanding, such as the United Religions Initiative, the World Council of Churches, and the Parliament of the World's Religions. Dialogues, meetings, and sharings among religious leaders and scholars and practitioners, as well as joint pilgrimages to sacred sites, are bringing real understanding and appreciation of other religions. There is also the recognition of the common teachings found in the world's religions. Many religions share similar thou shalt nots, known as the restraints, refraining from harmful or unwholesome deeds, such as in the 10 Commandments, or the 10 unwholesome deeds, or the 7 deadly sins. The thou shalt nots include don't kill, lie, steal, covet, or engage in sexual misconduct, etc. On the positive side, most religions encourage many similar virtues in people: love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, generosity, selflessness, service, and benefiting others. The golden rule of love is a perfect example of this. As a version of the teaching of love thy neighbor as thyself is found in every major religion of the world. Here is a short video I'm going to show you of the golden rule of love from my Spiritual Life TV channel.
The Golden Rule of Love. Versions of the Golden Rule are found in the major religions of the world. Diversity of expressions. Unity in meaning. Christianity. In everything, do to others as you would have them do to you. Buddhism. Treat not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. Hinduism. This is the sum of duty. Do not do to others what would cause pain if done to you. Islam. Not one of you truly believes until you wish for others what you wish for yourself. Judaism. What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. Taoism. Regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain, and your neighbor's loss as your own loss. Baha'i Faith. Lay not on any soul a load that you would not wish to be laid upon you, and desire not for anyone the things you would not desire for yourself. Sikhism. I am a stranger to no one, and no one is a stranger to me. Indeed, I am a friend to all. Zoroastrianism. Do not do unto others whatever is injurious to yourself. Native spirituality. We are as much alive as we keep the earth alive. Jainism. One should treat all creatures in the world as one would like to be treated. Confucianism. One word which sums up the basis of all good conduct: loving kindness. Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself.
So, there is a diversity of religions, but often there are similar teachings in each religion too. And all religions seem to recognize that people everywhere, no matter what the religion or no religion, want a happy life. Increasingly then, many religions are having an appreciation of the shared beauty and value in other religions. In most of the major world religions, there is often an inner and an outer form to the religion. We might say an esoteric an exoteric approach to it. Some people in a religious community will delve deeper into the esoteric teachings of their religion, such as in esoteric Christianity of the Essenes and the Gnostics, or in the Kabbalah of Judaism, or Sufism in Islam, or Tantric Buddhism. So there are many ways to approach a religion and find meaning. And then there is the third group, a growing category of people who consider themselves spiritual but not religious. For them, they see spirituality as part of our human heritage, and they express it as goodness through having inner values of compassion, love, kindness, caring, and universal ethics, but without depending on religion. They look to the beauty of nature, and they feel an interconnectedness with all life. They see the problems of the world and want to help make a difference. They want to do their part and to benefit other people and make the world a better place. Sometimes they have spiritual practices of inner reflection and meditation and going within themselves for guidance. They may study certain wisdom philosophies or esoteric philosophies, as many of us do here, such as the Trans-Himalayan esoteric wisdom found in the Alice Bailey teachings in collaboration with Master DK. These are deep studies and deep spiritual practices with esoteric meditation and spiritual observances, as well as service to benefit others. All of this is core to it, but it is not a religion, and it's universal and open to everyone. And there are esoteric and exoteric wisdom philosophies in the Trans-Himalayan stream, so other philosophies and teachings, embracing various theosophical teachings and many different organizations and branches. There are also other people in the category of spiritual who are not religious, who are not involved in any groups or group work, but they feel and know their spiritual connection to life. This category of spiritual but not religious, interestingly, is increasing today greatly, especially among young people. In the U.S., well over 1/3 of Americans consider themselves spiritual but not religious, and this is according to the latest information that has been done, a Gallup poll, but it was in 2002. I imagine it's even growing more. This path, spiritual but not religious, is probably the path of a lot of us here today. And interestingly, it is a path that is endorsed by the Dalai Lama. His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, of course, is the head of the Gelugpa, or Yellow Hat, branch of Tibetan Buddhism. And he is revered by most Buddhists everywhere, as well as much of the world. The Dalai Lama gives full respect to religion. And of course, he highly values Tibetan Buddhism as his religion. But the Dalai Lama also makes a stirring appeal for what he calls a third way, a path to an ethical, happy, and spiritual life, and to a global human community based on understanding and mutual respect, but not based on religion. It is a universal secular path, not based on religion, but rather is focused on inner human values, such as compassion, love, justice, forgiveness, and peacefulness, which the Dalai Lama says are indispensable in creating a better world. Religious differences have caused so many problems in the world, he says, and no one religion can ever hope to satisfy everyone now. What is needed today, he says, is a secular approach to ethics and promoting basic human values. Love and compassion are inborn, he says, and are the inheritance of every human being. And that's a beautiful thought. So I want to take a look now at the life of the Dalai Lama, because in his amazing life, he has moved through the three stages, the three groups that we just mentioned. The Dalai Lama shares his expansive process in two recent books. One is Towards a True Kinship of Faith, and the other book is Beyond Religion, Ethics for a Whole World. I received 2 autographed copies by the Dalai Lama. Tenzin Gyatso is the autograph there of his book, Towards a True Kinship of Faith, from when I sponsored the Dalai Lama's large interfaith gathering in Chicago in 2011 with the National Theosophical Society. I met and became friends there with Rabbi Michael Lerner, our wonderful speaker, last night and this morning. And as you can see, he had a long beard then. Rabbi Lerner was participating on an interfaith panel at the request of the Dalai Lama. It was a wonderful interfaith sharing of religious leaders with a Buddhist, a Jew, a Christian, and a Muslim leader. For the Dalai Lama and myself, this 2-day interfaith event followed right after Kala Chakra and the World Peace Talk in Washington, D.C., which was a very busy time. It was interesting in Chicago because the Dalai Lama had a private meeting with a large group of theosophists who were there, and he told them about a significant event in his life when he was a young man that is mentioned in his book. It involves the International Theosophical Society headquarters. It's a story of the Dalai Lama's growing awareness. The story begins this way. The 14th Dalai Lama was born July 6, 1935, in a small remote village in northeastern Tibet. At 2 years old, he was recognized as a reincarnation of the 13th Dalai Lama. He was brought to the Potala Palace in Lhasa, Tibet, and at 6 years old, he began his monastic education. He was intensely trained throughout his youth in the tenets and teachings of Buddhism, the only religion he knew. Tibet was isolated from the world then, so the Dalai Lama had little exposure to other religions. So of course he thought Buddhism was the best religion and the only way. Let me share some of his words from his book. When I was growing up in Tibet, and especially after my serious engagement in studies of classical Buddhist thought and practice from the age of 15, I used to feel that my own Buddhist religion was the best. I thought that there simply could not be any other faith that could rival the depth, sophistication, and inspirational power of Buddhism. Other religions must, at best, be so-so. Looking back, I feel embarrassed by my naivete, although it was the view of an adolescent boy immersed in his own inherited religious tradition. The Dalai Lama goes on to say, needless to say, such naivete could be sustained only so long as I remained isolated from any real contact with the world's other religions. The pivotal moment of contact came when I had the opportunity to visit India for the first time in 1956. He was about 21 years old then. The Dalai Lama, in more than a 3-month stay, had an opportunity to meet people from all kinds of religions, and he was impressed with them and their spiritual quality. The Dalai Lama traveled to many sacred Buddhist sites in India, and he also visited the Theosophical Society's international headquarters in Madras. now Chennai, India. So here is what the Dalai Lama said in his book, and here's what he told the Theosophists in Chicago. Looking back to this trip in 1956, I realized that my visit to the Theosophical Society in then Madras left a powerful impression. There I was first directly exposed to people and to a movement that attempted to bring together the wisdom of the world's spiritual traditions as well as science. I felt among the members a sense of tremendous openness to the world's great religions and a genuine embracing of pluralism. When I returned to Tibet in 1957, after more than 3 months in what was an amazing country for a young Tibetan monk, I was a changed man. I could no longer live in the comfort of an exclusive standpoint that takes Buddhism to be the only true religion. When tragic circumstances in 1959 forced me into exile in India to live as a refugee, I was paradoxically afforded the freedom to deepen my personal journey of understanding and engagement with the world's faith traditions. In 1968, in Dharamsala, India, the Dalai Lama met Father Thomas Merton, a Trappist monk who became a close friend and mentor, and of whom he says, "There is no doubt that my meeting with Thomas Merton opened my eyes to the richness and depth of the Christian faith. Later, I found out that there were quite striking similarities between our own lives." The Dalai Lama said, "When Merton came to see me, I was able to explore deeply with him some personal experiences on my own part in a series of conversations." He notes, Merton was a great and deeply knowledgeable advocate of interfaith religious dialogues, while remaining true to his own Christian faith. He too was a proponent of harmony among the followers of the world's great religions, based on a deep understanding of each other's profound spiritual teachings. Merton died in a tragic accident in Thailand not long after their rich series of meetings. But the Dalai Lama continued to explore in depth the teachings of other religions. He became friends with the leaders of many religions, engaging in deep dialogues and sharings, and he has become known as an outstanding worker in the interfaith field. In his book, Towards a True Kinship of Faiths, there are chapters on many of the world's religions, in which the Dalai Lama tells of meetings with leaders of each faith, and he gives short explanations of its teachings and a comparison with Buddhism and other religions. Clearly, the Dalai Lama has a good understanding of these other world religions. In the various world religions, one of the biggest differences is in the theist religions, which believe in an absolute transcendent God. These religions are Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Sikhism, and Zoroastrianism, to name the major ones. And so between those and the non-theists, those like Buddhism, which do not believe that, believing instead in the universality of the law of causality and of interdependence. So some non-theist religions are Buddhism, Jainism, and some branches in India. But the Dalai Lama sees how both approaches can bring understanding to its adherents. And he notes that both approaches engender virtuous living and benefiting others in its practitioners. In today's society, the Dalai Lama feels that there needs to be a pluralism of many truths and many religions. Each person can choose the one religion that is best for him or her, while respecting the other religions. Compassion is the core quality that the Dalai Lama feels is the basis of all the world's religions. He says, the quality of compassion is inborn, the inheritance of every human being, whether one is a believer or not. On this level, there's no difference. And this belief is the essence of the Dalai Lama's advocacy of a third path too, a spirituality that is not based on religion, but is based on being human. This is the universal secular path. The third path seems to me to be a reflection of the Dalai Lama's role as an incarnation of the Buddha of compassion. Bodhisattvas are enlightened beings who have postponed their own nirvana and chosen to take rebirth in order to serve humanity. So serving all of humanity and not just one religion would be the commitment for him. The Dalai Lama says his religion is kindness. He says his religion is simple. There is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own brain, our own heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness. In the Dalai Lama's recent book, Beyond Religions, Ethics for a Whole World, he says, this book may seem strange coming from someone who, from a very early age, has lived as a monk in robes. Yet I see no contradiction here. My faith enjoins me to strive for the welfare and benefit of all sentient beings. And reaching out beyond my own tradition to those of other religions and to those of none is entirely in keeping with this. I am confident that it is both possible and worthwhile to attempt a new secular approach to universal ethics. My confidence comes from my conviction that all of us, all human beings, are basically good. In view of this, I am of the firm opinion that we have within our grasp a way and a means to ground without contradicting any religion, and yet crucially without depending on religion, to ground values of high order. Transcending the religious wars, the Dalai Lama outlines a system of shared ethics for our world, a non-religious way to spiritual fulfillment and a better world. It is this universal, secular third way to an ethical and happy life based on understanding and mutual respect. The Dalai Lama, of course, has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize and a Congressional Gold Medal, as well as over 80 other awards and honorary degrees for his work for peace, interfaith understanding, compassion, and universal responsibility. He has had dialogues with many heads of different religions and with scientists and met with presidents in flip-flops, and met with presidents, prime ministers, and rulers of major nations. And he has authored over 70 books. And yet the Dalai Lama is warm and friendly and interested in others and shows respect for other religions. And at times, he is as playful in person as he seems on TV or in videos. These two are very good friends, and they act like two little boys at play. I had a 20-minute private meeting with His Holiness in Dharamsala, India. And he was delightful and serious too. He told me of his strong interest in science and in secular ethics. And this is one of my big interests too. He asked me questions about myself and my perspectives. And then the Dalai Lama went on to tell me about his strong interest in encouraging universal secular ethics in children and in schools. We talked about how it can change young lives and benefit the entire world. Religion can be a stumbling ground here, but secular ethics can be for everyone. I told him of the problems we were having in the U.S., with bullying being widespread in schools, and kids treating each other so badly. We even had some young people commit suicide because of it. It was so sad, we agreed, because with education and by teaching secular ethics and values, it didn't need to be this way. Children could learn compassion and kindness as a universal value, the Dalai Lama said. Then they could practice it their whole life. We agreed reaching children as young as possible was the best. The Dalai Lama spoke of building on the kindness of the mother. Mothers teach love and compassion, and the Dalai Lama speaks so lovingly of his own mother. And in Buddhism, it is common to encourage people to think of other people as you would your own mother, to bring forth kindly feelings for them. And with reincarnation, it could even be possible. The Dalai Lama wants to help everyone in the world, and helping children holds a special place in his heart. He has a universal approach to all. And I'd like us to take a short look at the Dalai Lama himself on video.
I think many problems which we are facing is actually we emphasize secondary level of differences. Different religious faith, different nationality, different color, within same religious believer and same color, rich and poor, like that. So, since a lot of man-made problem due to too much emphasis on the secondary level of differences, now we must go to basic level, oneness of humanity. That I think very important. When I give you talk, when I meet you, if I feel, I sort of keep some kind of feeling, I am Tibetan, I am Buddhist, then that mental state itself, distance from you. Forget that I am just one human being. The way my birth, right? The way your birth, same. The way finally death will be same. Sometimes I jokingly how so serious when we passing through a cemetery, right? Cemeteries, there are a lot of sort of cemeteries. That's our final destination. We have to go there. Rich or poor, powerful or also the poor, everybody, young. So eventually you also have to go there. So nobody can escape. Even Buddha, from Buddhist viewpoint, Buddha also, you see, went that way. Jesus Christ also went that way. Muhammad also, you see, has gone that way. So therefore, it is our, whether we like it or not, it is our final destination. So when that destination is reached there, money, no use. Fame, no use. Power, no use. Weapon, no use. What thing bring us tranquility at that moment? Our life spent, meaningful life, serving, helping other, not harming other. Then, at that moment, feel very happy. That's very important.
So, we are all human. We are all one, and we're all just the same. And just by being human, We each have inner spirituality. It is core to us, and it is beyond religion. I honor that spirituality in all of you. Thank you very much.